regular program schedule to bring you the following.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Only the beginning. The event is so momentous that historians may one day view it as a landmark in the decline of the British Empire. The Beatles.
Investigators have to determine then is whether indeed there was a sniper and whether the guard was justified in firing its weapons, or whether, as some people here believed, the guard, under the pressure of a rock-throwing attack, panicked and fired its weapons indiscriminately, killing 4 people.
Is soon overwhelmed by a calamity unfolding in the compound which houses Israel's team. Figures seen in the windows by gathering throngs are those of Arab guerrillas holding Israeli athletes hostage. Nightfall descends on the scene, but the suspense goes on. Mustering a helicopter, the terrorists...
This will be a great victory, depending upon what we do with it. In other words, we win elections not simply for the purpose of beating the other party or the other person, but to get the opportunity to do good things for our country. As far as the tapes are concerned, rather than being in defiance of the law, I am in compliance with the law.
CBS News special report, The Embattled President, with CBS News correspondent Roger Mudd.
Richard Nixon's future as the President of the United States has now apparently moved beyond his control.
To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body.
Despite his own considerable powers as chief executive, his future is really in the hands of the other 2 branches of government, the courts and the Congress.
I would have preferred to carry through to the finish, whatever the personal agony it would have involved.
On Capitol Hill, the House Judiciary Committee has started a formal inquiry into whether it should approve the impeachment of the president.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
Tuesday, April 29th. The streets of Saigon, usually jammed with traffic at the morning rush hour, are quiet. As dusk fell on Saigon, helicopters were still taking people out of the embassy compound. In all, approximately 7,000 people, most of them Vietnamese, were airlifted to safety during the 12-hour operation. Desperate Vietnamese remained at the embassy gate, hoping against hope that they too would be evacuated. But for them, there was to be no flight to safety.
Attention! So first you put 2 straws in this mouse like a walrus.
The movie is called Star Wars, and since it opened here 9 days ago, capacity crowds have filled the 1,100 seats in the theater almost daily. In only 9 days, Star Wars has grossed more money than any movie in Dallas history.
Elvis Presley died today. He was 42. Apparently it was a heart attack.
United States Marine Corps guards used tear gas to try to disperse the mob of Islamic students. But that wasn't enough. Hundreds of Iranians finally overran the embassy compound, seizing about 90 people, mostly Americans. The hostages, men and women, were blindfolded, herded into the embassy's basement.
Unsuccessfully trying to get the American hostages out of Tehran, the government of the United States is now trying to get the deposed Shah of Iran out of this country. And there is no sign tonight that either problem is likely to be solved.
Must recognize the gravity of the situation which it has itself created and the grave consequences which will result if harm comes to any.
Where there is error, may we bring truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope.
It was a long and harrowing ordeal for the hostages, their families, and indeed the entire nation. And it was an ordeal that plagued the presidency of Jimmy Carter, an ordeal whose final resolution eluded his presidency.
The energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth.
Washington Hilton Hotel. When
the price for this freedom at times has been high.
The president coming out now. You just have to watch. I don't know whether you hear this or not. Shots.
And I suppose in love. Whatever in love means.
Where's the beat?
All of those people are pushing and shoving to get one of these. They're Cabbage Patch dolls, and I talked to some people to find out why they'd want to go through all this just to get a doll.
Time to make the donut.
Disease has already claimed more victims than Legionnaire's disease and toxic shock syndrome combined. More than 800 cases nationwide, 300 plus of those fatal. And every day, 3 more cases are identified. And yet, still, surprisingly few people are familiar with the Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome, or the acronym by which it's frequently identified,
But several other groups have been affected as well. 14% are intravenous drug users, 5% are Haitian immigrants, 1% are hemophiliacs, and 6% fall into none of those categories. 94% of the victims are male.
Looks like a couple of the solid rocket boosters blew away from the side of the shuttle in an explosion.
Flight controllers here looking very carefully at the situation. Obviously a major malfunction.
Plain and simple, the Congress is to blame because of the fickle, vacillating, unpredictable, on-again, off-again policy toward the Nicaraguan democratic resistance, the so-called Contras. I do not believe that the support of the Nicaraguan freedom fighters can be treated as the passage of a budget. I suppose if the budget doesn't get passed on time again this year...
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
This crash of 1987 is not just an American experience. Around the world, stock markets fell faster than a skydiver without a parachute. The panic starting in
Push me to raise taxes and I'll say no. And they'll push and I'll say no. And they'll push again and I'll say to them, read my lips.
Put bulldozers right through the wall so that more people could cross to the west. The East German communist leadership tonight said there'd be a new election law guaranteeing secret elections which the rest of the world could monitor. And only 24 hours after East Germans were told they could go anywhere, anytime, the Soviet Union said that was a sensible move.
No.
Stealth was designed to be invisible to radar, but to be safe, the Air Force started jamming Baghdad's radar defenses. The jamming gave the game away. The Iraqi radars were blinded, but 3,000 anti-aircraft guns and 60 missile batteries began firing wildly into the sky.
Kuwait is liberated. Iraq's army is defeated. Our military objectives are met. Kuwait is once more in the hands of Kuwaitis in control of their own destiny. We share in their joy.
One question on everyone's mind is how did this jury see the same videotape that the world saw and reach the conclusion that no crime was being committed? What began just over a year ago with the beating of one man continues tonight with parts of Los Angeles in flames. Star Jones, NBC News, Los Angeles.
1992 is not a year on which I shall look back with undiluted pleasure.
Fight the real enemy.
In the words of one of my more sympathetic correspondents, it has turned out to be an annus horribilis.
Hi, I'm Kurt Loder with an MTV News special report on a very sad day. Kurt Cobain, the leader of one of rock's most gifted and promising bands, Nirvana, is dead, and this is the story as we know it so far. Cobain's body was found in a house in Seattle on Friday morning. He was dead of an apparently self-inflicted shotgun blast to the head. Police found what is said to be a suicide note at the scene, but have not yet divulged its contents. Cobain, who was 27...
The last thing Jim said was, OJ, you were a man, you are a man, be a man. Turn yourself in. Right toward the Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, Brentwood areas where OJ lives and where the two people killed also live.
Jury in the above entitled action find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information.
A massive car bomb exploded outside of a large federal building in downtown Oklahoma City, shattering that building, killing children, killing federal employees, military men. Two suspects now have been identified, known only as John Doe. They're both about 5'10 to 5'11, about 180 pounds, both with brown hair, one with a crew cut, the other with a tattoo. Those sketches were released as rescue workers worked their way through the wreckage of the Murrah Federal Building, looking for survivors among the close to 200 people believed to be still in that
She won't go quietly, that's the problem. I'll fight till the end, because I believe that I have a role to fulfill, because I do things differently, because I don't go by a rule book, because I lead from the heart, not the head. And albeit that's got me into trouble in my work, I understand that. But someone's got to go out there and love people and show it.
So what I say to you now, as your queen and as a grandmother, I say from my heart. First, I want to pay tribute to Diana myself. She was an exceptional and gifted human being. In good times and bad, she never.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong. It constituted a critical lapse in judgment and a personal failure on my part, for which I am solely and completely responsible.
Welcome. You've got mail.
The investigation into the high school massacre is slow-moving and dangerous. The two gunmen who went on the rampage booby-trapped the building and even themselves.
Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold had apparently committed suicide, but investigators say they spent their final moments rigging the building and their own bodies with more than 24 pipe bombs. Amid the gunshots and bomb blasts, hundreds of students ran for their lives, stalked in their own school by two of their own classmates who went on a rampage.
CNN announces that we call Florida in the Al Gore column. This is a state both campaigns desperately wanted to win.
Stand by. CNN right now is moving our earlier declaration of Florida back to the too close to call column. George Bush, governor of Texas, will become the 43rd president of the United States.
Now the U.S. Supreme Court has spoken. Let there be no doubt, while I strongly disagree with the court's decision, I accept the finality of this outcome.
Mr. President, when we can't find a senator to sign the gentleman will suspend.
It's exciting for me to be here. I want to thank Ms. Daniels for being a teacher. I want to thank Lynn for being a principal. And I want to thank you all for practicing reading so much.
The World Trade Center is the one with the large television antenna on it, and the restaurant Windows on the World is in that tower. The other one is the one with the observation deck. This point, the Associated Press
that is the World Trade Center in
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
Any outlaw regime that has ties to terrorist groups and seeks or possesses weapons of mass destruction is a grave danger to the civilized world and will be confronted.
On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war.
Shame on.
These are opening stages.
Shame on you.
Of what will be a broad and concerted campaign.
Get fooled, we can't get fooled again.
Breaking news we're getting from the PA Newswire that there's been reports of an explosion outside Liverpool Street Station. That, of course, in the east end of London.
Stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
There are electrical lines that are still alive. There are gas lines that are still spewing gas. There are cars that are submerged. There are other large objects the boats can't operate. So they had to suspend operations and leave those people in the homes. As we were driving back...
What's really scary is they all want to stay in Texas. Everybody is so overwhelmed by the hospitality. And so many of the people in the arenas here, were underprivileged anyway. This is working very well.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We will end this war in Iraq. We will bring our troops home. We will finish the job. We will finish the job against Al-Qaeda.
Decent, family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements
with. It's like a really bad Disney movie.
Issues, and that's what
the hockey mom, I'm just a...
And you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska. Putin rears his head and comes into the airspace of the United States of America. Where do they go? It's Alaska. It's all about gotcha journalism. A lot of it is, but that's okay too.
Hey, can I call you Joe?
A shout out to all those third graders at Gladys Wood Elementary School. You get extra credit for watching this debate. John McCain has been the consummate maverick in the Senate over all these years. Say it ain't so, Joe. There you go again, pointing backwards again.
I'll try to find you some and I'll bring it to you.
To those leaders around the globe who seek to sow conflict or blame their society's ills on the West, know that your people will judge you on what you can build, not what you destroy.
A federal judge ordered Madoff, who is 71 years old, to serve a maximum 150 years in prison. Now, before the sentencing, Madoff turned to his victims and said, "I am sorry." He told the court, quote, "I cannot offer you an excuse for my behavior. How do you excuse lying to your brother and your two sons?"
Would not apply to those who are here illegally. It's not true.
Our top
top political priority over the next 2 years should be to deny President Obama a second term.
Continue to follow the story of Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords of the 8th District in Arizona. That's Tucson, Arizona. She has been shot outside a supermarket. We are aware of conflicting reports at this hour that she might have died, although I want to direct you straight to what we've just heard from her communications director, who says she is still alive and currently in surgery. So that is the latest from the office.
And from every family who never imagined that their loved one would be taken from our lives by a bullet from a gun.
There was some kind of confrontation with the principal who he shot, and I don't know the principal's condition. And then apparently there was more shooting with more than one gun by this shooter, and they are still trying to sort out whether this was the only shooter or whether he was with somebody.
Same-sex marriage legal in this country across every state in this nation. Going into today, 37 states in Washington, D.C., 13 states illegal, but those 37 states had same-sex marriage, and now that will change in all 50 states.
Bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're raping.
Je suis la représentante du peuple français qui se détourne de vous, Monsieur Hollande, comme il s'est détourné hier de Monsieur Sarkozy.
I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago.
I know that virtually none of you have ever done a proper job in your lives.
The British people have voted to leave the European Union, and their will must be respected.
Brexit means Brexit.
Right. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
He can't figure out how to get out of it. But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund by making...
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Media campaign, the Me Too March followed a series of accusations by men and women who said they were victimized by high-powered figures in the entertainment industry. Movie producer Harvey Weinstein, actor Kevin Spacey, and comedian Louis C.K. are among the most prominent to have been accused.
You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. When you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people.
Welcome to CBS This Morning. We're talking about one of the great symbols of Paris and all of Western civilization. It is still standing this morning after a fire that nearly destroyed it.
Growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know. A Washington state resident fell ill after returning from Wuhan, China, where the outbreak began. Officials now say more than 400 people have been sickened and 9 people.
Waves of peaceful protest marched on, bigger than ever before.
No more silence.
From Washington's newly named Black Lives Matter Plaza to San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge.
46th President of the United States.
Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, has vowed not to concede.
11,780 votes. We're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you, to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.